when I need to stream, I should probably prepare like social posts so I'm not spending, like the first 20 minutes of stream writing those. Anyways, hi everyone. Bit of a shorter but also kind of maybe silly stream today. Martin Freepaw, aka Martin Fattail Freepaw, was like, hey, you want to do something silly and just go fish the magic bucket with me while we just chat about stuff for a while? And I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds great, let's go. And so this is that, and we're just gonna be goobers, and it's gonna be chill. We'll be on Marlboro, so if you want to come and try and catch the magic bucket, you can, but also if you don't, it'll be available for 15 mogtomes starting Tuesday morning. So I would rather say go do that instead. Anyways, I hope you can all hear me. Let's find out really quick. Me? Good, okay. Let me get started with Martin. But I think we're just about ready. Get Martin here on the line. We're also going to be sharing chat with Martin, so.
Oh my god, it's Fruity. We were just talking about you.
Oh my gosh, it's Martin Fattail Freepaw.
I know. God, that was so funny when Blue was just like, is this a problem? Are we going to have a problem with people calling you a fat tail? I love her so much.
That's how you introduced it, and I was just like, I think that's how you introduced yourself. I'm turning down Blue. Just
yeah. That's what most people kind of genuinely know me for. They know you as the fish person, but I don't think that people also realize you're a Vieira at the same time.
Yeah, and I don't think I would actually, if they even introduced fish people, I think I would still say Vieira at this point.
Do you like being a Vieira? Genuinely?
Yeah.
Did you... I was gonna ask, were you weren't always a Vieira, didn't you start as a Makote?
Nope.
No? What'd you start as?
I started as, also I sent you an invite for the collab.
Wait a second, which is weird.
I probably also have to send you a thing for that. Hold on.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for. There it is.
There we go.
Cool, you're already here.
Yeah.
No, I actually did not start as Vieira. I did not even start as a Makote. I have actually never been a Makote on my primary character.
Yeah.
I have one character who holds the what's the word? That holds the that's like my alt on the Aquarium Annex, who is the only Makote I have ever made, and his name is Fruity New, as an N apostrophe U.
That's actually really good. That's genuinely. Oh my god. Fruity New.
And that's how you have to say it. So whenever I was like, oh yeah, let me just get on Fruity New.
I understand that. The person that I inherited my FC from, their name was Sniggity Diggity, and I have to say the full name. You just is Sniggity Diggity, y'all. And that was in their search info too. It was I'm Sniggity Diggity, y'all. And I loved it so much.
I'm Sniggity Diggity.
It's so fun to say. I hope they're doing well. I haven't talked to them in ages.
Oh boy.
Not since Kevin's word.
Is our shared thing working still, or did it break? Oh, I haven't even started sharing chat, so let me do that. That would help.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is chat not sharing? Because I didn't press share.
Yeah, I did try to tell my chat to be on a behavior, but I'm not. We
This is
we bite. We
this is-
bite over here. I'm
this
sorry.
is not a normal. This is not a normal streaming time for me. So I have basically just been like, this is wild. This will be funny. It'll just whatever happens happens.
Yeah. Absolutely. We were talking about like our favorite fruity snack flavor. What was yours?
It is Oh, right now I need water because I'm choking on a cookie. 1 sec.
Oh my god, this man out here fucking eating cookies. Trying to do real fucking fishing shit. Oh man, that does remind me. A friend of mine who keeps koi ponds. They make like koi cookies or whatever. And rich people eat that shit up.
Wait,
And it's really just crushed koi pellets into the shape of a cookie.
Sky. Invis, you will not find the OG fruity on any guides. That is about the earliest one you will find.
Everyone bro out here like fucking choking.
Will probably be the third iteration of fruity. Sorry, I was talking to my chat for a second because someone was like, "Oh, I have to go back and look at at Fruity's guides to find what the original Fruity was."
Oh my god.
And the answer is you won't find the original Fruity in any of the guides because the earliest one that I had, I think, was the fifth iteration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So shall we get started?
We shall. I actually don't know where we're going, but we're going.
You know what? Here, we'll do it this way because I have this prepared because I'm taking a friend. You know, I'm just gonna casually crash this up against the wall.
Gently hit you with my car.
I have a friend who is going through Final Fantasy XIV for the first time. And
exciting!
I have this on track. Yeah, they just finished Shadowbringers 2 days ago.
Oh, congrats to them. Are they actually enjoying it, or are they just like, I'm not sure how I feel yet, even this far in?
I think they like it. They've been liking it a lot. We just started the Eden raids today.
Okay.
We were trying to do the near raids, but that didn't queue.
Oh, you're at the start. That's probably why. I always find it's like better to try to party find those because they're so old. Though with the Mogtome coming out, you might have like more luck with it naturally queuing.
That's what I'm thinking. Ashen, thank you for that follow.
Oh, little hater decided not to work. He's thinking about it.
Welcome to our pond for the rest of the night.
At least it's pretty.
Yeah, let me get something going here first. If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right.
Okay, so we're gonna do it right if we're gonna do it. Understood.
There we go. So, with the magic bucket, please apply your leech.
The only
bait.
The only tech I have, yeah.
The only bait. All right, and then cast out.
Okay.
And okay. I forgot the most important thing, but it's not required for this specific part, so we're fine.
Okay.
So you're gonna catch a fish, and ideally it's 3 exclamation points. If it's not, that's fine.
2.
That's fine. Do you have the folklore tome for this fishing hole?
No.
You don't?
I do not.
What did you just catch?
I call it it looked like the Helix Pokemon. Anemone?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Cast back out.
Okay. I caught the Pokemon. That's what I caught.
Yeah.
I can read some of the time. Oh, I let that go. I lost my bait.
Just do it. Just do it again.
I didn't pay fucking attention to all. So this is a rare-ish bite, but not like super rare, right?
Oh.
It's like the jury's out.
No, the jury is not out.
Okay.
All right, reel that in. I will tell you everything once you are prepared and seated.
Prep. Okay. How do I sit?
Well, first press surface slap.
Surface slap. Got it. No
Okay.
more Patricia.
Then hit snagging. And then in chat type /sit.
Oh, just like that?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Now you have everything you need to know to catch the magic bucket. You cast out. If you get a 3 exclamation point bite, you reel it in. If you don't get a 3 exclamation point bite, you just let it go. You can press rest if you want, or you just let it go, and then you just use chum again and cast back out. As long as you have snagging up, you're doing the best you can.
Okay.
That's it. So this is how you catch the magic bucket.
Don't after a bit the pools they be like, hey, the fish are aware that you're around here? Like,
Yeah,
are we going to have to move?
We won't deal with that until the top of the hour or so.
Okay.
But the magic bucket. So the reason why I think this is happening is because there was it's going to be in the upcoming Mogtome event.
Right.
And it is someone already caught it. Nice job. It is a untradeable fishing minion that only appeared once before in Mogtomes back in like 2019. I think. Anyways, it is the rarest bite in the game by straight bite percentage based on what we know.
See, the reason why I said that it's mixed is that, like, when people saw it was in the Mogtome, and of course, on socials, it was making its round, a lot of people like, oh, it wasn't that hard. Like, I got it, like, pretty easily. And then some people like, I have been fishing for 8 years, like going through the war of it.
It's very much a fish of... Because it is so rare, and because it's a minion, and because... It like people, and it's untradeable too, which is why it's like such a big deal that it's in the Mogtomes. The reason why you see that is because there's so many people going. You kind of hit like the law of very large numbers, where eventually it just becomes a thing that you have to that will happen. And so that's why you see some people who are like, oh, yeah, it was easy. Like, I got it, like in an hour. And other people were like, I have literally been to hell and back, and I have stared in the face of God, and he spat it back at me. I think one of the records is like 2,000 bait without getting a bite. Which is within the realm of possibility. I mean, it sucks, but it's within the realm of possibility for this.
So I have like somewhat of a similar story for a minion that I spent nearly 2 years trying to get and never got. I actually never got it the way you're supposed to get it. It's the Morpho minion, right?
Yeah. That's
when it was first.
That's what from
go on.
That's a drop from Ampador.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is a drop from Ampador. It was a very rare minion drop at the time. I think they went through and like they boosted it because now like a lot of people are like saying it's like dropping and stuff like that. But I would run that dungeon maybe 10 or 12 times a day for nearly 2 years, no drop type of situation for me. Or if it did drop, like the rare times, I lost the roll. And then a friend of mine actually like bought it and gave it to me before like they left the server, because back then that was like goodbye forever.
Yeah, I remember those days. That was me in Dawn Trail with the Quetzal minion, which you can only get from Fisher Retainers, the Waterside Exploration, like 31 or something, whatever the highest tier one is. It took me...
Did you know that sharks can be oviparous, viviparous, or ovoviviparous? That means some lay eggs, some give live birth, and others carry eggs that hatch inside them and are then live-born from there.
We have one on my channel. You can redeem points and have Mortimer, the Mora, give you fish facts, or you can also make him say things. But anyways, yeah, the Quetzal minion is this bird that you can catch. Well, you can get from Fisher Retainer minions, and it's like the rare minion from the Retainers. And it took me a year and a half until I got one.
We have something somewhat similar on my channel. His name's the Little Hater Crunchwrap Supreme Esquire, Baja Blast, whatever. Chat named him, and then someone used all their points to make it so he had every single name on the poll. So, but he doesn't spit facts. He just spits horrifying things in my ear, and he barks. If I'm lucky.
See, my chat could do that with Mortimer if they, chose to. Because
chat, make that fish bark.
I'd actually like to hear them try, because no one has. I would love to know how that would work. So, yeah, so that is it.
Bark, 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 woof, woof, meow.
Thank you, Jazzy.
A Little Hater is saying that fish aren't real, so...
It happens. Some fish aren't real. In this particular case, we're catching not a fish, so...
Do you subscribe to... So, I saw, it's funny discourse. It's not one of those, people are taking this seriously. But when someone's like, hey, what's your favorite type of, animal? Or what animal do you not like? And some people say fish. Do you categorize, as a thought exercise, as fish as an animal? Or is it its own thing?
I would say it's a creature. That wherever that goes, I don't know.
He's barking in my ear.
What is a trout? It's a creature.
It's just a miserable little creature. I mean, they're probably not miserable, but the one you caught the other day did look a little like, yo, buddy, put me back.
The rainbow trout I caught, yeah.
He was so jittery shocked.
He was like, man, it's a nice day, and everyone thinks that the rivers are closed, because in my state, they do stocking. So all the, a bunch of, all across the state, various waterways get stocked up.
Bingus bongo skibidi riz Ohio no cap on God.
Now I have my guy rapping in my ear about Ohio.
Oh shit. Oh shit, it's a rap.
Should get him sunglasses. So in my state, they have they stock every spring and fall.
The largest fish in the world is the whale shark, which can grow to more than 50 feet long and weigh several tons.
They stock rainbow trout for catching. And what they do though is that when they're doing the stocking in the spring, which is the big stock, the river near me is kind of long, and they drop 20,000 fish into this river.
Wait, really?
Yeah. They publish the numbers. That's how I know. For my state, they're just yeah, here's the number of fish we're putting out into the state. It's 60,000 or something. Rainbow trout, stock bred.
According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground.
Bees.
The bee, of course, flies anyway because bees don't care what humans think is impossible.
In my truck, I keep a emergency sort of supply kit because I have every known issue wrong with me type of deal. But I normally keep like sugar, salt, water, stuff like that. And I came across a couple of carpenter bees in the parking lot like the other day that were like clearly at their wits' end. So I like made them a little sugar concoction, and then they all crawled over my fingers, and they were so cute. But I love big fat bumblebees, and I'm kind of sad that we don't have one as a minion or a mount yet in 14.
I feel like we should. Like, I feel like that's the thing that at this point I feel like we should. Like, we've had so many bee things. We should have bees all over.
We should. Everyone at the social media accounts that are clearly like overworked and just be like, where my bee at?
It fins you even now, doesn't it? The hunger to bite down on my weight. Why are you holding this fork and knife?
And now my Mora is Xenos.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so to go back, they have, when they're stocking the waters across the state, all of the waters that they're stocking are closed for fishing. So the river near me closed this week. Well, when I was there last week, I thought it closed on the 22nd, and that's when I was at the park where the river was, where I would have fished. And I was there, I was like, oh, it's a nice warm day, there's fish jumping, and I was talking to this other guy, and they're like, yeah, that's trout, like holdover trout, and they were jumping. I was like, oh man, I wish that it was closed, or it wasn't closed. And he's like, yeah, no, it totally closed on the 17th. I'm like, no, it closed on the 22nd, and then we looked it up, and it turns out it was the last day it was open.
Oh shit!
And because they closed on the 23rd, and it's the 22nd. I'm like, and me and the other guy are like, shit, we're gonna go get our gear right now. And literally, I was with my wife at the park. We wrapped up what we were, our walk at the park. Came home, dropped her off at the apartment, grabbed my fly fishing stuff, and went straight back to the park. And with sheer determination,
help, I'm being held captive by this mad fisher rabbit, please send help.
Just in, like, my waders, with a fly rod walking through this park in mid-March, just drop my way down into the river and just keep walking, and I just started casting out, and that's when I was catching the fish. And so that fish was probably like, oh man, I had a nice winter, no one was bugging me, I'm gonna have a few more weeks of this. And then suddenly I was like, ooh, that looks nice, and then yoink.
Do you, like, because I know every state and fishing and stuff like that's different, do you get to keep that, or did you have to, like, throw it back in the pond?
They have laws. There are laws and regulations for for this. What is it right now? That's my question. Oh. 2026 trout regulations. Yeah, it was any. So right now, up until the 22nd, or until this past Monday, I could keep any trout I caught over 9 inches. Any rainbow and brook trout, specifically, over 9 inches, and I could only keep 2 a day. When the season opens on the 11th of April, I can keep any rainbow or brook trout over 9 inches, and 6 of those in total until the end of May. And then after that, it goes back to 2.
So I like to make a smoked trout dip. I'm kind of obsessed with smoked trout dip a little bit, but it's not something I get to have all the time. So I was like, oh, did you get to take it home, and then did y'all eat it? Because, like, I love to eat fish. Like, that is, I can't have a lot of it because, like, if you eat too much, you can get gout and stuff like that. But I love like good fresh fish, and I did used to live like off a river.
How does a red
in my
mage catch
youth.
fish?
So I grew up like,
Verbatim.
catching and stuff like that. Though I learned catching like normal, off pier, offside, stuff like that. I also learned like trolling before it became an internet term, right?
Trolling, yeah.
And then primarily though, this was my... I don't know how to explain this, but I think it makes a lot of sense. So I was mostly raised by my grandmother, who was... she had a lot going on, okay? Loved her, but she was from the old country and had a lot of trauma because she came over during civil unrest right into the Red Scare propaganda times type of deal. So... whatever. She has her fantasies and her delusions, and we loved her very much for it. But she liked to noodle, and so I learned primarily catching catfish the noodling way. Which, if you, those of you who are not from the South are aware of fishing terms, it's where you slather your arm up in bait and then shove it in what you hope is a catfish den. and one, hope it is a catfish. Two, hope it's not strong enough to pull you in there with it. And then you just pull it out with your fist type of deal. And
or
that's...
your whole forearm. Yeah, I have seen in some cases as well.
Yeah, it was a very small thing, and it would always go up to my shoulder type of deal. And I would have weird bruises.
Yeah, they have weird mouths too. They're just like...
They do!
Because they don't have teeth, but they have like an abrasive thing where like a teeth would be.
It's like a sandpaper kind of.
Like, a lot of fish don't have teeth. They just, I mean, some of them do.
Why can't fish use the ether network in Final Fantasy?
Let's
they
go,
only have 2 gill.
Hey, nice job, Koro. Some fish don't have teeth, but they do have like that weird like, what is it? This like sandpapery, sandpapery feel. And so like those, you can grab those. Like I'll grab fish by like the lower jaw sometimes. Some fish, not all of them, small ones, I do it safely. And you can hold on to them that way and like show them off and then gently put them back in the water. But catfish are ones where I will not put my fingers anywhere near their mouth. Whole arm, sure. Like there's a reason why you make a fist. Because they can't bite through a fist, but you put your fingers into a catfish den and they get your fingers. Your fingers are gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, I ultimately stopped doing that because one, I didn't know it was dangerous because like I was young and like that's just what my baba did and stuff like that. But I went with some other friends to do it with their family, and the guy put his hand in a snapping turtle den.
Nope.
And I was
this is why I don't get anywhere near that.
What did the Namazu and Larafel make for dinner?
It was weird too,
Fish
because
and
it wasn't just like the snapping turtle thing that I remember, like that being like, oh well, like I'm never doing that again. But I think primarily we all stopped it because an alligator had moved into that part of the lake. Mm-hmm. But no one would believe us it was there. But we're like, no, it's there. We promise. And I very distinctly remember a guy getting pulled out of the river who lost his arm. And then they like were hunting it for like 2 weeks. But they didn't, they refused to believe us when we were like, yeah, don't go swimming in that hollow. There's like a gator over there.
Yeah, there is a pond that I'll go to for fishing for like bass and crappie. And it's not like a super well-maintained pond. Like it's clearly just like the reason the pond exists is because a river just happened to find like a divot in the ground and just filled the area up. Like it isn't anything like super fancy or eroded or whatever. Mm-hmm. So There's a snapping turtle that lives in that pond, though, and it is probably a good, like, 2 feet long, 3 feet long, on just a shell, which means it probably weighs about 100 pounds.
Drafting requires a lot of patience, but fishing takes patience too.
Yeah, some of those... I remember, like, seeing some of those snapping turtles, and that's why I believe that dinosaurs are still... I mean, like, they technically are. Dinosaurs are still real in certain aspects, but you could not tell me that that thing wasn't a turtle. I refuse to believe it was a turtle. All the way up until, like, I got more aware of, like, animals type of deal. To me, that thing was so huge and so massive. I was like, you're telling me that's a turtle? I don't believe a single word you're telling me right now.
Yeah.
Like, no way.
Yeah, no, turtles are wild. I have, fortunately, and this is a genuine problem depending on the type of bait you're using. One of my biggest fears fishing is hooking into a snapping turtle.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're using like live bait, like if you're going for catfish, if I was going to go for catfish, what I'm going to do is go find like some of the like stinkiest meat I can find. Guess what snapping turtles love to eat?
Yeah.
And I will just go and do that. And if I go and do that, I have to be very careful where I cast. Because if I get a snapping turtle, as soon as I see that I have that snapping turtle, and there will be signs before I even realize, oh, I'm probably bringing in a snapping turtle. What I will do is get it maybe as close as I possibly can safely, and then just cut the line. I'm not even going to try and get the hook out of the mouth, because at that point it probably isn't that big of a hook, and it'll rust out anyways. But I am not messing with a snapping turtle.
Have you ever caught, because this happened to me, and like I feel like this is kind of common. Maybe it is like down in these southern rivers. I don't know so much because I know you're in these like the northern parts. But have you ever caught like a big bass, right? And as you're reeling it in, a snake comes out of its mouth?
What? No.
No. Oh my god. Yeah, like that's in specific rivers, water moccasins, like they'll just come in the boat with you, right?
Yeah.
And I've definitely like reeled a bass before, and like a snake head came out of its mouth, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like I know.
No, thank you.
And I just immediately cut the line. I was like, I don't know if this one's like a poisonous one because I couldn't see the head so well. Because you can tell, like, poison triangle, otherwise smooth, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, good luck, bud. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm not... So we don't have to deal with, that many creatures that want to kill us up here in the Northeast. Mostly because they're warm-blooded, and
you guys
we have...
like, moosies?
I'm not that far north.
You have okay, you don't have megafauna, okay.
No, we don't have megafauna. I've seen megafauna. Like, I've seen moose, but that was in Montana. Wyoming. No, we don't have that. I'm not surprised by that because bass will eat, bass eat snakes, they eat mice, small fish.
I appreciate Eventide, like, backing me up. You're like, that's a canon event. Like, thank you.
I won't deny it. I won't. I absolutely believe that happening. But no, I haven't. What's the word? No, we don't have that really up here. Because a lot of our... the thing is, like, our bass don't get that big. And if they do get that big, they aren't in places where I will necessarily run into snakes. But I've also never caught a bass big enough, in my opinion, that could eat a snake like that. I've had them on my line. There's this one lake near me. A few years ago, my dad and I went out kayaking. And I love kayak fishing.
Never done it. I don't trust a kayak, but go on.
It's a ton of fun. because basically you can now go to all the places that you wish you could go to by foot, but now you can go to by like water, and you can just go anywhere. So I've gone kayak fishing, and I was casting out near these bass beds at this lake and I was told in this lake it was like, this is a trophy lake, like it's an unregistered trophy lake, because they have, in my state they say like these are trophy lakes, like this is where we put like the largest fish, this is where like the biggest fish are going to be. But this one isn't on that list. And he's like, yeah, no, there's still like big fish in this. And I cast it out. I got into what felt like a 10-pound plus bass. And I was reeling it in, and my line snapped.
Oh, no.
And it jumped out, it broke off, and I was like, no. It was probably the biggest bass that I had ever caught at that point. And then, so yeah, anything else though, like the biggest bass I've maybe caught was like 8-9 inches, because my river, near me, my river is relatively shallow, so it can't support 10-pound bass. The lake that I was at, that lake specifically it's an old quarry, so it's anywhere between like 60 to 80 feet deep. And
yeah, go on.
The third place that I go where I have caught some relatively large fish, like I caught a really big pickerel, which, talking about fish with teeth, those fish have teeth, and they have an anticoagulant saliva, so if you put your hand in there, your finger's just gonna keep bleeding.
Yeah.
Anyways, that lake has bass, pickerel, blueies, and landlocked salmon that apparently can get up to like double-digit size and weight. But it's 140 feet deep for a lake.
Crazy. Yeah.
So I don't go to those places because they're not as easy to get to, and I have to go there via kayak. So I don't go as much. But so anyways, to answer your story, I have never seen a bass nor heard snakes coming out of bass's mouths when you catch them, but I'm not surprised to hear it.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I don't trust kayaks, but my experience with fishing is like down here in the south and like Jazzy seems to understand too, where the water moccasins and cottonmouths will just climb into your boat type of deal. I don't want to be in a kayak and have that situation. Like, I'm not scared of snakes, and I do generally like them. I don't want them on my boat, right? Like,
yeah.
you can come, you can be an invited guest if I invite you, but like, don't just fucking slither your little like unpredictable ass up here. Like, get off, go back to the shore. Like, leave me alone, you know? But I can't imagine doing like the kayaking, especially like, with like alligator water, snake water, stuff like that. That just seems...
Yeah, I would love to go fishing in the south because they have some fun fish down there, like gar. I would love to go catch
Yeah!
I would love
Have you seen that
to
video?
Go
Have you seen that guy who's like
cast that net? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I hope it's not 100
hope it's not 100
gar.
gar. Brings up 100 gar. Oh god, I'm like, man, I have never caught a gar. They're apparently extinct in my state. We used to have gar. They technically can be this far north, but in the 80s or 70s or 80s in my state, they were overfished, and so they may be extinct. No one's seen or reported one caught in the past 50 years. One of my things, if I seem to have more free time this summer, one of my goals is to actually research that a little bit more and figure out where they were and actually go see if they're extinct and see if I can catch one. But no, but I would love to go down south to go catch like gar and stuff because those seem really, really fun. I love catching predatory fish.
I haven't like gone fishing since I moved here to Atlanta. There is the haunted Lake Lanier that people keep telling me because they know I like spooky shit and things of that nature. And I know too many people who like, yeah, don't go to Lake Lanier. Like every year there's like tons of incidents, like people drowning, stuff like that over there, because Lake Lanier is a man-made lake. Specifically, a dam was burst over a black town, and so underneath the lake is an entire.
Yeah, we have one of those too.
Like an entire one.
It's the exact same thing. It's haunted. It's not called. We don't call it haunted here. It's like called like the Lake of Death. My dad and I are both like, hell yeah, let's go kayak on that. Like I'd be like, that'd be fun to fish, because there'd be a ton of structures for the fish to live in. But then my mom is like, no, people die there. I'm like, yeah, Mom, people die everywhere.
Yeah, like it's down here. It does have the reputation for people who live here of like, yeah, no, like don't it. Like people really do believe that the ghosts of the people are pulling people in the lake and drowning them and stuff. And it does have like a pretty high incidence of just accidents of people drowning and stuff like that. Obviously, though, I think just generally it's just people don't really understand how to actually properly like move on a water type of deal. Like
when
there's
you
like
have structures underneath, it's much different, and you have to be a lot safer. And I think part of the reason too is when you have those structures, and at least for ours up here, my understanding is people fall in and their life jackets get stuck on the structures.
Yeah, that's what seems, or that's my theory. I think there's also like weird currents because there's like football fields under there, there's like graveyards, there's factories, like all of that stuff. So I feel like the currents are
Fish
just
don't
very
chew their
weird,
food.
and then
It would disrupt the movement of water over their gills.
There to sort
Instead,
of like party
they either tear or crush their food into smaller pieces, or swallow it whole.
First off, they're not like smart swimmers in the first place, it seems. Two, a lot of them aren't even wearing life jackets because they think it messes up their outfits, right?
They sell life jackets now that are stylish. Like I don't know, like they are literally like a scarf, like a thick scarf.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly how I feel, but I thought it would be interesting to honestly like go there and maybe try to fish, but I don't know what the rules are over there, and I don't know if I would be fully comfortable doing that, just because like, you know, it's got history, and I don't know if that's insensitive or not. Like,
yeah,
it feels insensitive, but I would be really interested to honestly know like what's up in there.
That's part of the reason. Ooh, hello.
Did you get it?
I did after 114.
Oh, like Final Fantasy 14. It's all coming together. When did you start playing at 14? I think you said it at the panel, but I forgot.
3-1? Right before 3-1, I think.
Okay. So you started...
I started in Heavensward.
Heavensward.
No, I don't do the facts manually. You can redeem the facts. A bot will then automatically pull from a list that I have. I manually write them, but I just wrote them into a list that everything's being pulled from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm one of the old timers for 14, so I started in 1.0, unfortunately. Yeah.
I own a copy of 1.0, but
I do have a private server.
I don't have a,
The largest fish in the world is the whale shark, which can grow to more than 50 feet long and weigh several tons.
I have a copy of Final Fantasy 14 1.0 that a friend gifted me, the collector's edition.
Oh, stop!
Yeah. I didn't get any of the digital items for it because he had.
Those are like time dated. Yeah. Those are time dated
already redeemed and stuff. But everything else I had. Oh, and the key fob. I didn't get the fob.
The security token or whatever?
Yeah. Little token. So
yeah.
I have a copy of that.
What's the Admiral's favorite sea shanty?
I would
Row,
like
row,
to
row
get a
your
physical
boat.
copy, I think, because I remember like I had that when I first started playing, but I don't have it anymore. Many years ago, like I lost a lot of stuff in a flood that happened, and so a lot of that stuff was that. I'm not like too attached to like when that happened, I was just like, whatever. I had already been going through foster care, so I was like used to like losing stuff all the time. But now that I'm an adult and more stable, I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to actually have physical things again, type of thing. Oh, it would be cool to like own a physical copy once more. So you started in Heaven's Ward.
Yeah.
Sounds like right after like post-patch Heaven's Ward.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was right before 3.1 or 3.2. I forget exactly, but I started in Heaven's Ward, off of the way that this went was I was working on a major content update for Team Fortress 2, and it was
I forgot you were on that team.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I was working on a major content update for TF2. Like a community update that was official. I was working with people from like BioWare and shit. It was genuinely a great experience. But I was doing level design, and we were getting the map that I was working on. Me and another guy. We were wrapping this map up, and I think I had spent probably 40 hours of the previous 48 awake doing work on this map just to get it done and out so that Valve could test it. And I finally got it done, sent it out, tested, and I was talking to my friend, and my friend was playing Final Fantasy 14, and she was like, why don't you come play Final Fantasy 14? You like MMOs, I think you'll like it. And I was like, you're right, I do like MMOs. Let me go and treat myself to this. So I don't know why I remember this so vividly. It's like a core memory, I guess. So I sent everything in. I was just out of college, so I was living with my parents. My mom had made chicken tenders.
Aww.
For the family for dinner that evening. I grabbed some. I sit down. I had downloaded 14 while I was getting work finished up, and I booted up the game and started playing with my friend, and that was like November or something. It was definitely like a November. It might have been the old free trial, because there's weird time discrepancies.
Yeah.
It might have been the old free trial, because I think there's some time discrepancies between on like the achievements. My achievement thing was like, no, it was like July, but I was like I'm very certain that I was playing this game in November of 2014. But anyways, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter specifically at that point, but I started playing. My first ever character was a Lalafell, because I was so tired and loopy, and the Lalafell looked the funniest, and I didn't think I was going to be playing for that long, so I was like, let's just make a silly character that has a ton of emotion, because I don't have any right now.
Yeah.
And I started playing that on Behemoth, but this was Behemoth pre-Crystal era. And so then I started playing on that. I started playing on as a gladiator. Back when you had to play in order to unlock Paladin, you had to get level 30 gladiator, level 50 conjurer.
Yeah, you needed that protect.
Yep. And then did that and played through, and I took a break for a little bit of time. Another one. That
Look
was
at you.
like 24 later or something like that. That was really quick. Also, yeah, Kirby, this is the bucket. Yeah, and started playing, and then I just started playing through it and kept through and through and through. It took a little bit of a break,
Yeah.
I think, but I have basically been playing most of my time since then.
What was it that like really cemented like, yeah, you know what, I'll stay in this game? Like I feel like most people, they get to a certain point in Heavensward, and if they make it to Heavensward, to be fair, right? And then they're just like, yeah, no, it was nice, but I'm not sticking around. And then other people are like, no, you know what, I'm sticking around.
So I've always been a fan of MMOs. Period. Like I was already at an advantage playing this game because I just like MMOs. So I think a lot of the reason I played it was because I just wanted to see what this MMO was like, whether or not I liked it. So I just kept playing it because apparently
Echo,
there was
buckets.
Oh, nice. Congratulations, Echo. Apparently there's like a thing where level designers just really like system heavy games, apparently. Which MMOs are. But I think for me the thing that really stuck around was the world, and then obviously like the community and stuff too. When I first started, I didn't actually have a ton of real life friends that I was playing with. It was really just me, and I was just making friends in game.
Yeah.
And then took a bit of a break, and then came back and made more friends and kept going, and then I started fishing, and it went all downhill from there.
Yeah. I started, like I said, in 1.0, but I actually came over from 11. I had a I had a somewhat of a traumatic experience in 11.
It is Invis, yeah.
Which a lot of people kind of know. I think it became like a Reddit meme or Reddit post or something like that. But I've always been into like the creative roleplay art side because like I draw, I write, stuff like that. So though I've never like roleplayed in a video game until 14. But that being said, 11 is I knew a bunch of role players. And one of them asked if I would bring a specific beast. I think I got it.
You got it. I think you got it.
A specific beast to their wedding. And I said sure. And I forgot to re-up the charm count. Oh yeah, I did it. It's a big circle. And I forgot to re-up the charm counter, and I wiped the entire wedding party. They all de-leveled. And I was so embarrassed, I just logged out immediately. I didn't know what to do. I was so embarrassed. I was also very young then for me. I had never been in this situation before. And so I de-leveled like 20 people, okay? At this wedding party. And I just pulled the plug. I was like, oh god, turn off the internet. And I just pulled the plug. And, you know, I showed back up 2 weeks later. I was very apologetic, and I apologized to them, and I said I was sorry, and I just didn't know how to handle it, and, like, all this other stuff. And they were very nice and stuff about that, but that was when 1.0 was coming up, and they're like, hey, look, obviously we're all going to take a break from 11. You want to join us on 14? And I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, are you sure? And then, yeah, I started playing 14, but it was so bad. It was so bad. Final Fantasy 14 1.0 is probably one of the worst games I've ever played, and I've played a lot of Chinese slop MMOs that would disappear in a month, right?
Sometimes those are fun, though.
They are! Like, sometimes they are fun.
They're like candy for me. Because this was like years ago, I did math on how much time of my gaming career I have spent playing an MMO. And I think this was like, oh gosh, this probably would have been 10 years ago when I did this calculation. And at that point in time, based on, you know, time that I played on Steam, anything that was tracked time, I added it all together, and I saw how much of that was MMO games. 54%.
Oh my god.
54% of my time, over 10 years of playing games, was spent in an MMO, and that was predominantly spread across old school, well, at then RuneScape, not old school RuneScape, but what old school RuneScape is now. But then RuneScape, Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2, and like a brief stint into Aeon.
Oh, I liked Aeon. They had like these apple weapons, and I remember that.
I liked Aeon a bunch, but it was right when I was going to, like, it was big right when I was going to college, and I didn't have the money yet to buy a subscription. So I just played on a private server. But whenever, like, these new MMOs come out, like Aeon 2, I really want to play. I really want to try Aeon. I really want to try Aeon 2, because also I think Aeon has one of the best, like, MMO classes ever. But like whenever like a new one comes out, like Amazon's been putting out a bunch of MMOs and stuff, just that are coming over from like Korea and China. I will happily sit down and play one of those for like a week and never again. Throne and Liberty was great for a week.
Yeah, most MMOs these days hold me for a week to 2 weeks. I can't believe that I've been playing 14 for as long as I have been. Like, genuinely.
I have...
And I know that's because of the community.
Like, pre-14, the longest that I would ever spend in a single game was about 2 years. At most.
The fish smell me.
Oh yeah. We should probably move. We need to like move onto the rock. Just go move.
Oh, you have to. You just move to one spot over. That's fine.
There's two types of amiss. There is the one that we're getting right now, which is wariness, or just what we just call amiss. And literally, the farthest you have to move is about I think about maybe this much. Nope, a little bit farther.
Oh, that's interesting. I literally thought that you had to move like to an entirely new hole.
I just have to move here, so it's like however that far is, like it's a few yalms. I'm not going to stand here though because I don't want to get too close here, and I want to give Tolly T some space.
This is my friend Rez. You could step on him. He likes it. Oh. There you go.
Yeah, so there's two types. That one you only have to move a few yalms for. It's an anti-botting thing.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
So you can't just, like, camp there forever. The other one is called what we call Super Amiss, which happens when you make 500 casts into a fishing hole. Doesn't matter where you stand, it's just 500 casts into a fishing hole. At that point, you have to get up and go to another fishing hole, cast into that, and then you can come back and start fishing again for another 500 casts.
It's interesting.
Rarely ever run into that, with the exception of if you're having a really unlucky streak here, or during the diadem rankings. It takes about an hour and a half to hit. So it ended up being roughly about like the length of a lockout. So basically what we would do during the rankings is we'd go in, hit the amiss, the super amiss, and then on our way out, cast into another fishing hole, and then come back, and then just start over.
Do you remember, because obviously you like fishing in real life, and obviously, you know, who would have thought, I know, wild to know, but you like fishing here in 14.
No way.
Is there, like, a game that you remember, like kind of like, oh yeah, I love the fishing video game. Like, do you remember what that is?
Yeah, it's RuneScape.
It was RuneScape?
Yeah, RuneScape has the most simple fishing system. Because it's like literally AFK. You stand there and your guy, kneels down to the ground and puts a pot in and pulls it out or does stuff. It's just so simple. But for some odd reason, I just found it so incredibly relaxing. Being my, high school ball of stress self?
For me, it was actually Ocarina of Time's fishing minigame. I really, really enjoyed that. I don't know how, like, why I enjoyed it so much, but I loved it. And then I just started really liking fishing in most games. Though, you know, me and you have had this talk. My chat knows this. Is that I don't really fish in 14. It's become a bit of a meme for like a lot of us. I will ocean fish because I think it's really pretty, and I like the feeling of actually. It feels like I'm actually participating a bit with my friends in ocean fishing. But going out and like fishing like in ponds and stuff like that hasn't really appealed to me the same way. And it's not so much that like I'm scared of the work. Like I love Stardew Valley's fishing, which is also like, you know, a lot of people hate that and they find it stressful, but I love it. Type of deal. But I don't know what my disconnect is here.
I don't like Stardew Valley fishing because it's very bouncy in the early levels, and it's just I never liked how it felt from a control standpoint. Like I have been.
Akami is a good one too. Sorry, I saw Jazzy mention the Akami fishing.
I haven't done Akami yet. That's on my list of things to do. I have unsurprisingly been given and also been playing a lot of fishing games or like fishing mini games recently because I'm working on developing my own, and they are so varied, but also all relatively similar.
I think if you've not tried Balia, it's meant to be like a cozy MMO or whatever. Yeah. I actually kind of like the little fishing game in that. I think that one's really interesting.
Yeah, Palia had good fishing. I haven't done it in a while, so I don't remember it, but I did do it at launch.
Same.
I did that one. The one that I actually recently played that I actually thought was really interesting was a game called Sable.
Okay.
Which I admittedly had my eye on and was like, I don't know if I have time to play it. And then I saw that there was fishing in it, and I was like, all right, well, now I have to. Now it's a business expense. I don't actually claim those yet because I'm not incorporated yet. But I'll do that. And the sable fishing is interesting because the entire world is a desert.
Okay.
And you can basically cast out anywhere, with the exception of like a few areas that are like near like ruins or down spaceships or something like that, or like anything that's sand you can cast into and you can pull up fish, and there's like fish or something like that. And it was really interesting because it was fish based on the biomes and the sub-biomes. So if you were doing Sable like an exploration game, so the goal is to go and explore the world, figure out what it is you want to do, and then come back home and make that choice.
Okay, that sounds really interesting.
And so it was an interesting way of being like, hey, let's go and explore the world, and if you want to earn your angler's mask, here's how you do that, by exploring, and you actually had to go and like fish in these different like little biomes and sub-biomes in the different regions, and it was really neat. And I actually really liked it a lot.
Besides like these fishing games, because I feel like you kind of fell into like the bucket of like, oh, you're the fish guy, here's a fish game. Is there like other games that you actually generally enjoy playing?
Bucket. Fell into the bucket. No captions. Bucket.
Bucket.
Not the swear word. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Peyton's talking about web fishing, which I really enjoyed too, and I'm very excited. So the one that the developer gave like their blessing on, the sequel, so to speak, the predecessor, has its demo out, and so I'm thinking about trying that one. I did enjoy web fishing a lot.
I have it downloaded. I just haven't tried it yet.
I haven't tried it yet either. I tried this. Yeah, go for it.
I think so. the thing that I really like is my voice is now completely shot.
SpaghettiOs.
Fucking cookie. I really actually really like ARPGs like Diablo. Though I don't play Diablo specifically, but I did play a bunch of Path of Exile, Torchlight. There's another one that I just saw in the Steam Next Fest, I think called Gloomhaven, that looked interesting.
Gloomhaven.
But I really like the top-down, massive, like, web of skill tree ARPG games. Really,
I think
enjoy
Rez
those.
was playing Gloomhaven, if I remember correctly. Did you like Baldur's Gate for that reason too?
No.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird. I don't like turn-based games very much, which I know is weird considering like one of my favorite companies is obviously Square Enix, and they're known for making turn-based games. But I could not get into like Fire Emblem, Octopath Traveler. Those are very much games that I'll play for like a few hours and then stop because I just don't. The combat, turn-based combat's a little bit too slow for me. Part of the reason why I like ARPGs or top-down ARPGs or just action-based RPGs in general is due to the pace of the combat. I really like faster-paced combat and faster-paced gameplay for those types of games.
Did you enjoy? I'm taking an assumption here because I feel like everyone did. Clear Obscure 33, right? It is a turn-based, but like I feel like it still requires you to think on your feet during the waiting of the turns because you have to time like parries and shit like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy like that style if you play?
I made it so. Of all of the turn-based games that I have played, I don't make it super far. It's like maybe a few hours. Clair Obscure is like the one that I made it the farthest in, but I never finished it. I made it into Act 2.
Okay.
So it's my intention to still go back and finish it. I think part of it too is usually with these turn-based games, it's like you have to really sit down and then play them for, like, you need to devote like an hour to get something done. But with a lot of these other like smaller or like action-based games, you can do a whole lot more in less time. And so, for me, I'm really busy because like I was working, I was I had like the YouTube channel to maintain, I have a family. I make dinner for my wife and I every night, so I just don't have a ton of time to be able to devote to just be like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and start playing this boss fight that might take me 40 minutes to get through. That's just really that's a bit of a hard sell for me in some cases, but I think that's part of the reason why I don't finish a lot of those games is that like the longer they go on, or once I get out of like the early game, it just starts taking a long time and it's just like really slow for me.
So, Rez in my chat is saying that an ARPG you might want to look at is called The Dark West that's coming out.
The Dark.
So, there's a suggestion to put in your other bucket, right?
Let me look at that one right now. Oh, I've seen this one. Yeah. That is on my list of things to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I really like top-down ARPGs the most for some odd reason. Path of Exile, Lost Ark, also had fishing. Lost Ark I liked playing. I have like 80 hours in each of those.
Yeah, I I think it surprises most people when they like meet me or like they talk to me. I don't think it's that surprising, but a lot of people seem surprised by it. But I really like horror games. I play a lot of horror games just in general. And there was this one like horror fishing game that was like multiplayer. And I was trying to get Rez and another really good friend of mine, Jelly, and we were trying to play it, and it was so just fucking goofy. I forgot the name of it, but Rez might remember. But the thing though that I really found charming about that game is when you cast the line, it was literally just some guy on the microphone go whoosh, because it was like one of those like low budget kind of indie games, and you could tell he made the whole.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I don't like this term, but it's what everyone uses of friend slop games.
See, that's what I was thinking to certify it as, but to be fair, I didn't see many people even try to pick that game up. Like most of the other friend slop games were. It was just a weird game. You would have to catch enough to like make the patron happy, and then fish and weird things would make weird sounds on your line. There was like spiders that would show up. There was a dude in a plague mask and a hot air balloon that would land that was like your trader or whatever. I think the idea behind the game was really interesting, but it was just so goofy I couldn't take it seriously. Oh, I think it was Gone Fishing. Yeah.
It was Gone Fishing, yeah. I was literally watching somebody play that this morning.
It was just, I think I like the idea of that game a whole lot more. And I don't need like scary games to scare me. I just like the environment. Like, if anyone was here watching me play like Resident Evil 9 and stuff, like I wasn't hooting and hollering and screaming and be like, oh my god, it's so scary. I like the stories that horror games will tell that you can't get in like most other games. Like they're scared to touch on it. But that being said, when 14 does horror, I think they do it a whole lot, and I wish they would stop being scared of it. The whole Edda storyline building in the backline, the background since A Realm Reborn, and then culminating like in that one side quest that most people miss. Mm-hmm. Absolutely chef's kiss. Which, finally finished in Palace of the Dead. But if you didn't also know, you might know this, Fisher, because I think I talked about it in one of our panels, maybe. I talk about this a lot because I think it's really interesting when devs do fun things in the game. So there's an Easter egg. If you've not started Palace of the Dead, but you've gotten far enough that you've seen the cutscene where Edda's party like breaks up because Mia lost his head, right? So any of the 3 starting states at 2 a.m. while it's raining, you have a chance to see Edda, Pureheart, in a specific area. Like in Gridania, it's over there where the kids play. In Ul'dah, it's behind a sign, behind a lamp. After you go through. Is it the one next to the
Chocobo place?
No, you have to actually go through. You have to go through that loading line into the markets, and it's that one right there. And then in Laminsa, it's past the loading line. You can see her in the background, right? Mm-hmm. And it's client side, not server side, right?
Yep.
So me and you could go see it, and I wouldn't see it, but you would, type of deal, right?
My favorite thing I just learned about that really quick, too, is that if it is client side, but she is always there.
Yes and no.
Well, so when it is an active, if it is a condition for her to appear, but you don't miss the condition, but you don't have the conditions for her to appear, she's still in the zone. She's just hidden under the floor.
Yeah, she is under the map, but it's still client side because you can still do it. It's really hard, but you can fall through the map in Gridania because it's one of the city-states that they didn't actually rebuild from scratch for 1.0. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I got an ADHD redeem.
Oh no.
Oh. It's that being an asshole is my love language one.
Also, hi everybody on my side. We are currently just fishing up Magic Bucket with Martin Freepaw.
Oh, it's so catchy.
Oh, you know, hold on. I just had an idea.
But yeah, so you can see her. It's pretty easy to see her too, but it is a very rare occurrence. But it was treated as an urban tale because the community one was really small. Social media wasn't the way it was. And so it was treated like an urban tale of people spotting her and trying to take pictures and stuff like that. And this was before the Tamtara Deepcraft dungeon was put in. And it was just something the devs did just to have fun with the game. And I miss when they used to do stuff like that. Because in 1.0, the NPCs would be community managers, like running around, like role-playing with you as those NPCs. So you could talk to Nail, like before Dalamuth fell. You could talk to like a couple other people too. You would find Urianger like across the map, delivering prophecies because he was Garlemald's most wanted at the time.
Okay. Urianger out there living that thug life.
He was, yeah, he was supposed to show you what Arcanist was meant to be Beastmaster. And he was an Arcanist. He had like the special tool and stuff, and like when you would find him in the early days type of deal, you really didn't know who he was. He was very sinister. He would like summon raptors and disappear. He'd be like, "Whoa, raptor upon you," and disappear. And then you would find him like, yeah, you'd find him sprouting prophecies. Eventually, if you were doing the end quest, which was the Hildebrand quest line, you would come across him more. And yeah, he killed Hildebrand. Like, he did. He's the one who convinced Hildebrand to jump at the moon because Hildebrand kept getting his name wrong. Which is a really fucking funny, fun fact.
If there was one weird piece of 1.0 lore that you would want everyone to know, what would it be?
It would be... Honestly, it would be about the Green Wrath. That is just something that is... They completely removed, gutted, and like took out from 2.0. Because it doesn't make sense narratively now for what they're trying to do with the story of Gridania, which is they don't know what they want to do. And it's very obvious of that too. So Gridania needs the flack that it gets, but it's getting the wrong kind of flack. So a lot of people are like, oh, Gridania is racist because of the elementals. No, Gridania is racist because of Gridania. The elementals have no fuck, they do not care, just straight up. But they would inflict people with something known as Green Wrath / Wood Sin, which is if you had gone out and more or less like broken their rules, because people like forget you're in their house, right? They allowed people permission to come in and like live in their house, and then people started people just started like putting their muddy shoes all over their nice white couch and stuff, and like, hey yo, like stop that. But more or less, if you go out and you overpoach, you burn down trees, you just start wantonly killing, like you're breaking up the balance, you would start accumulating something known as wood sin. And then if you had too much, the elementals would green wrath you, which means you would disappear into the woods until you paid back your balance, so to speak. We would see this in 1.0, where people would get... It was specifically one kid. He believed that the elementals weren't actually real for like a lot of reasons. There was like a Garlean subplot happening. But he went and burned down a hedge tree, which is like an elemental's house. And the elemental showed up and turned him to stone. They were just like, nah! And you had to do like a whole cleansing ceremony to like get him back. And primarily the reason why they boogeyman the elementals so bad, the Seed Seekers Council, is because if you were touched or afflicted by the elementals, your conjury would actually get better because you were more communing with them. And they were super worried that people were going to try to get more powerful by going out and upsetting the elementals and causing, well, them to get kicked out of the woods again, type of deal.
Mm.
But that's the thing, is like I wish people would understand like that sort of nuance, is that, and I won't even say personally, I'm saying this very carefully because my experience, I'm very used to xenophobia in my real life, like people being xenophobic to me. And I'll say, like, I don't think I've ever truly had to deal with racism, fortunately, and also unfortunately. So I won't ever say, like, anything like that. But a lot of what is going on in Gridania is more xenophobic, I think, because to them, Makote and Duskwights are outsiders. And not so much, like, it's a problem that they're Makote and Duskwights. They have a huge problem with outsiders in general. You're supposed to do a cleansing ceremony before you're allowed in town, but they don't do that anymore because that was a 1.0 thing. So now you can just show up and it's fine, I guess.
I'm just trying to imagine how that would work.
Yeah, it was like you would show up, you would have to get, like, that was your starting adventure thing, like you'd have to go get this and this for your cleansing ceremony, and then they would, like, throw water at you, and the podology at the time would be like, okay, you're good, the elemental said you're fine.
You didn't burn to a crisp, we're good. Welcome in.
But it's not so much, I see what you're saying, Aiko, and it's not so much that they consider them poachers. It's that they're ungovernable type of deal. So they demonize them, quote unquote, by being poachers. But when you, like, go and visit that seeker camp, you see, like, they're just out there living on their own. And they don't say anything about the goblins are also in that area. Nor do they seem to have anything about the sylphs, who are also kind of doing the same thing. It's more so the government is trying to control the narrative by being like, oh, the elementals said this, so you better do what I want or else. Which is a key thing in the Leatherworker questline, actually. You meet somebody on the council who's doing that. Because he thinks what the leather maker is making is ugly. And he doesn't want that in his town, so to speak. Though I do wish they would update the dialogue. That poor Duskwight in front of the Archers Guild, I think it is. I feel so bad every time I go by. Like, they should, at this point in time where we're at, a lot of the city-state dialogue should be updated to reflect, in my opinion.
That's something that I have thought about too. Like, I think that I would really like to see. Because I think on one hand, some of the city-state, like, well, just some of the dialogue, like ambient dialogue, probably can't change too much because you have to remember, like, new players are coming in, so they don't have, like, the timeline that our players have. So it would make sense for them to do, like, for them it makes sense to see that because it's the first time they're seeing it and the world is still new. Their timeline is fresh. But it would be cool if they could have some way of being like, all right, as time progresses, and with what you do, maybe things actually start changing around the city. And they have kind of been doing that a little bit, like, especially in Dawn Trail, where they leave the NPCs around, and, like, they now have, like, those stacked instances of the city where, like, everyone has, like, the beginning, middle, and end version of Tuliolol, can all coexist at the same time. I think if they were doing that in older cities now, that would be really fun.
Oh, yes, but we also know that they can do that. Like, if you talk to the refugees of Alamigo in Ul'dah, like, before Stormblood, they have completely different dialogue until after you finish Stormblood, right? And then after Stormblood, they have, like, oh, it looks like we get to go home, like, blah, blah, blah. The blue coats in Mordona, right? Alpha Node's private army would have different bubbles depending on where you were at in the story based on client side. So someone would be like, "Oh, nothing to see here," and then you would go and walk up to them like, "Oh, you better leave, or else I'll have to arrest you." After the bloody banquet. So like, we know that they can do that based on like where you're at type of deal, and I think that they should do that. But small indie team that's going through a lot
like,
right now.
I get why it doesn't happen, but it's one of those things that, like, and like, one of the things that I really like about 14 is the world building, and how even the smallest things, like the fish, have stories. Like, if you hit Y right now and you went to the magic bucket, you would see a little blurb about the magic bucket, and it's like a little story, and we have some confirmation that it was written. Those are written in like the idea of like a Charlian scholar. So we get some fun little like lore tidbits through fishing that way, and the description of like plants and stuff, talk about the ecology, and so it's like we have all of this world building, and I just would love for them to be able to invest a little bit more in that, to be able to do that, so like the city-states change a little bit more as you go on.
Yeah, I think that a lot of those city-states definitely need like that refresh, especially for us older players, to keep us, I think, more immersed into the story type of deal. Because it is sometimes a little jarring to go back, let's just say we go to Old Da or something like that, and like it's NPCs still wearing the same outfit, still saying the same parroting things. Some of those NPCs have been saying the same stuff since 1.0.
There's that poor guy in Ishgard who's just been hanging on for his dear life for like 11 years.
Well, that there's a hanging guy in every single X-Pack, right?
I think I do.
Yeah, every single X-Pack there's a hanging guy, and you have to find him. But that's an Easter egg for us. But yeah, I do agree. Like the one guy in front of Carvelion's ship in Laminsa who's been like hanging for like 15 years. like put that poor man down.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like little things I would love to see them do that I don't know how hard it would be to do, and I'm not gonna try and judge and be like, oh, these are easy to do, why don't they just do this? I don't know. But it's like, there's little things like in the wolf's den, and this is fishing related, in the wolf's den, up on the boat, there is someone saying, I'm the greatest fish in the world, as they're casting out and fishing. Fishers can't eat fish in the wolf's den. Like, we can't do anything with that. What was the other one that I was thinking of? It's like a bunch of just like little persistent things of like someone saying, hey, do this, and then move on. Like shoot, I had a whole list of these and then I immediately forgot them all because I was distracted by my music.
Fine. Speaking of like music, I currently am playing for like my chat this Vaporwave album that is consisting of video game fishing sounds and soundtracks. Wildly relaxing. It's called River Master. I'm being so for real. First side is the Angler's Dream, and then side 2 is called Memory Lake. And it's literally made up of all sorts of video game fishing sounds and tones and music, and set to like Vaporwave. It's pretty chillin'.
You'll have to send that to me and I'll listen to it after. Well, we're currently listening to the Final Fantasy XIV soundtrack, the Evilise raids, because that's just what's on my playlist right now. I took my Sprout friend through that. A few.
Did they have fun?
They did. They've been having a ton of fun. There was a couple of things in like A Realm Reborn that are extremely valid criticism. Like, there are things that I know are happening, but I can't do anything about. And then it's like, oh, why are we so like, oh, surprise, this thing happened, and it's like, I knew this was happening. Why are we not doing anything about this? But that was, I think, very much like an ARR story thing. They have enjoyed it for the most part so far. I think they liked Shadowbringers a fair bit. They got the big reveal wrong.
Okay.
On Mount Golg, they got that reveal incorrect.
What did they think it was?
They thought that it was a time warped Alphino.
Like that's interesting.
It was a future because of the Crystal Tower. Like, they made the connection with there's some time shenanigans involved, and there is, there's obviously something going on. They thought it was an older Alphino, and because the mannerisms were almost the same. It turns out, I guess, Grahatia and Alphino have similar mannerisms, and so they just thought it was an older Alphino. But then they were like, "Oh, who's this?" And I had to be like, this is why you had to do the Crystal Tower, because you had to canonically lock this man in the tower for this story to work. So that's why Crystal Tower was required. And I had to explain that.
Yeah. I had a sprout up until recently that I was kind of going through the story. And I think it's a huge disservice. This is like my pet peeve with the 14 community overall. Is that I think it's a really huge disservice for everyone to say that A Realm Reborn is bad and just wait until you get to the good stuff type of deal. Because I think that it already puts a bad mental impression onto somebody. Because we've all been through A Realm Reborn. And there are definitely things about A Realm Reborn that were annoying, but there were like a lot of really good moments. And I think like going through and being there with that person, especially now that we can like, go down into level with them, like the New Game Plus sort of situation. And you can kind of go through the story with them, hang out, talk with them, like show them the conversations the NPCs are having in between. Because a lot of people miss so much cool backstory in Awakening Sand because they don't go and talk to the NPCs. So, like, they miss that all three of the brothers are trying to find each other, right, from the wagon. They miss a lot of Arenveld's backstory. You find out more about the Circle of Knowing / the 1.0, like, version of the Waking Sand by talking to some of those people. And you get more attached to those NPCs before it's raided. But they also, like, especially like Arenvald specifically, like him and his band will mention like, yeah, like, like Guardians have been patrolling a little bit closer. It's kind of weird. And you kind of like get that in your head. So when you go into it and it's silent and you see the Garlean stuff, you're like, oh my god, that's what he was talking about, like that type of stuff. And it's the same thing. Go on.
Oh, no, finish your thought.
And I was just gonna say that, like, a lot of what makes the later expansions good is the meaty setup that a Realm Reborn gives you. And while it's like a lot of like back and forth at the time, ideally, well, not ideally, but generally, it's actually not as slow paced as people seem to think it is. It's just, they didn't have the money for the voice acting, the stuff like that, like they do now type of deal.
Yeah.
But you're still getting the same amount of content, but it's not as quick because of that, And it's all very relevant.
I think something to Jazzy's point too that's actually really good is a lot of the like really evergreen content is after Heavensward. Like Eureka is all after Heavensward, and you have to get through a bunch of hours, and most of that's a Realm Reborn, and I think there's some of the like frustration of that kind of gets rubbed off a little bit. So
it's valid frustration.
The thing though that I always the thing that I always mention whenever like story criticism around Final Fantasy story comes up is it's Skylar, thank you for the follow. We're comparing all of these like stories like, oh, Dawn Trail story was terrible. A Realm Reborn is a terrible story. Stormblood was terrible. Like Shadowbringers is great. At this point, though, we're like critiquing luxury cars.
Mm-hmm.
They're all really good stories in the grand scheme of things. And I actually also just enjoy Dawn Trail a whole lot too, so I'm biased in that sense. But whenever like the argument like, oh, you know, just skip through A Realm Reborn, it's not important. I'm like, no. It's a good story. You need to pay attention to it, or you ruin the rest of the game.
Yeah. My favorite expansion is Stormblood, to be fair, which, you know, that one a lot of people don't like. But sorry. So I was playing Leon Kennedy noises in my ear. But, you know, I have a lot of lived experiences that make Stormblood hit home for me that a lot of people didn't, right? Like, I grew up in a Eastern European household that went through Civil War and, like, a bunch of other stuff. Pretty much a lot of, like, what was going on in Stormblood with, like, the military propaganda and stuff like that, like, really hit home for me. And I will say specifically the scene of, I think it was, like, Xenos landing in the Alamegan Royal Guard, and they were doing the parade and stuff for him, was so, like, I remembered, like, having to sit in front of my TV to watch the red parades, because if you didn't, like, you were in trouble. And it being, like, a huge thing of, like, why aren't you watching the parade? Like, what's going on, citizen? Type of situation. And, like, things like that. And, you know, when I explain to people about, like, Stormblood and, like, how it hits and stuff, because a lot of people dismiss it. They're like, oh, it's this, it's blah, blah, blah. And I understand their frustration, because I think what Square did with Dawn Trail, they also did with Stormblood, where they promised you it was going to be one expansion, and then you're barely in there. Yeah.
That was... that was what, like, before Dawn Trail was announced, we were ending Endwalker, and I was saying, I really think the next expansion needs to be a cross between Heavensward and Stormblood. A two-part story that's self-contained on a single region. Like roughly Heavensward was. And that is precisely what we got. But to your point, I think a lot of the stories for 14, they're all great. Like, let me just lay that baseline down. They're all extremely good top-tier stories. There's a reason why it's critically acclaimed. But I think there's also a lot of the stories, at least, you know, since I think maybe even after A Realm Reborn, so like all the expansions, they all have very specific themes that are really, I don't want to say targeted, because it's not the case, but like it really the story is brought to another level for people, like certain people with certain experiences, like with you and Stormblood, with and that other level is either good or bad. I should point that out. Like, it's not just all positive. Like, it has another level. But, like, Endwalker, for me, I think Endwalker is actually one of the weaker stories.
I agree with you, but
I
go on.
did not enjoy Endwalker very much. I could not engage with the story. But I could see where certain people were getting engaged the way that they were. And I was like, okay, I understand this. Like, I understand why I'm just not the person that this is a story for. Shadowbringers, for me, was like, yeah, 100%, this is the thing that, like, I can relate to the themes in this story. I can get, like, the whole thing. for this one, carrying a burden, being the sole person to do stuff, blah, blah. Like, I get this. This makes sense. I can relate. We click. Sweet. Shadowbringers is probably one of my favorite stories. Heavensward, another one of my favorite stories because I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
Not Catholic, so it's not that related. But like, I grew up around religious organizations, and learning about this. So I was familiar with the themes that they were giving. And so that's why partially like Shadowbringers and Heavensward and Dawntrare are probably my 3 favorite expansions.
Mm-hmm.
Because of those stories, because I can relate to them in some way. So I think so to go back to what I was starting to say was, I think a lot of the I don't want to say friction, but a lot of like I don't want to say complaints, but like a lot of people who are like, oh, this story was terrible, and other people are like, oh, it's great. I think like that dichotomy just comes from people's personal experiences and their personal ability to relate to the story. And I think that's a hugely good thing for a story, is if you can have a story that's like really good on its own, but brought to a completely different level for certain people, while retaining like that high baseline for everybody, like that's a really good story. And all of the Final Fantasy XIV stories have hit that.
Yeah. I am, like I said, I'm a Stormblood truther, and I'm also like a big supporter of A Realm Reborn. But like, me being like a supporter of that doesn't mean I'm like, oh, your people's complaints about them are wrong, because like they're valid complaints like most of the time. I just think that when you're introducing a sprout, like, you should let them form their own opinion instead of talking about like, oh, if you just hurry up and get through to the good stuff, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think that just negatively impacts the experience that they're going to have. And a lot of them do end up rushing it because like, well, my friend is like at this and I want to do stuff with my friend. It's like, your friend could come down with you and like walk you through the story, like talk to you, hang out with you, like being part of that with you type of situation. Yeah. Though I will say, like, them going back through and cutting a lot of the stuff in A Realm Reborn, I think was not the play that they should have done. But I don't have any feet forward really for them. It's just that you've lost out on a lot of the Scion quests and sidebar stuff that like got you to know who the Scions were. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's a problem in Endwalker, and I think it really shows in Dawntrail, is that the Scions are no longer their own people. They're like one big personality at this point. Like, they don't...
Which is gonna be the... I was kind of hoping that they would break that a little bit in Dawntrail, and I don't think they did.
No, I think it made it worse in Dawntrail.
I think they did make it worse. I think one of the Scions needs to die. Like, that's my big hot take. One of the Scions needs to die. Or not be part of our story anymore. I think it's probably the better way to put it. Let's not... Death isn't the only way to take a character out of a story. Mm-hmm. But I think having the Scions is good, and I think, when at the end of Endwalker they were like, all right, well, we're done, bye, was good. But yeah. Not really. I think they got a little scared and brought them all back.
I'm just really confused because you remember like the big thing about Dawntrail outside of like we were supposed to be in Terral was like the Scions were supposed to like be in conflict with each other, and it was just like a throwaway line in a dungeon.
It was like one dungeon and then like a couple of stories after that, and then it was just like, yep, okay, we're done.
Yeah, like,
yeah, it felt... I feel like
it felt weird.
That could have been the whole... Like, we could have had like Final Fantasy XIV Civil War. A Marvel riff, and that would have been great. But I wasn't as too... I don't know. That didn't bug me as much. I'm more concerned about the fact that we can't let go of the Scions.
Yeah. It's just, to me, it's like, they keep kind of like building stuff up, and then like, they're not really fully delivering, but that is like an issue I think the fandom in general has, in that, you know, they'll give us a little snippet of the idea, and then the fandom runs and hypes it up to something in a way that will never actually be what the devs implemented. And I think a good example of that was Lords of Vermilion.
Yeah.
Was that they gave us an idea that we'd be fighting with our minions, and everyone assumed it was going to be similar to WoW's like pet battles and Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was so sure it was going to be that. And I feel that the devs could have like give us a little sneak peek, or they could have like, oh, it won't exactly be like that, but please look forward to it, instead of being like silent. So when it came out, everyone had built up this expectation. It was going to be fun. It was going to be pet battles. It was going to be Pokemon, and it's an RTS. It's RTS where you can just spam 8 Sid Garlemald's and win, more or less, right?
I think, I don't know. I'm thinking like they've hinted at a lot of stuff, like just briefly mentioned like certain things, but I think there's my theory, and I'm not a big lore person. I don't know all the hints that are being dropped for like lore stuff in the story. Like I follow the story enough that I can explain it, but I can't give you a deep analysis of it. But my Fruity Snacks level like understanding of the story is, I think it would be really interesting if in 8.0 we, you know, either the entirety of 8.0 or the first part of 8.0 is unlocking multi-star travel. Or maybe that's 7.5, I don't know. But at some point we need to go back to that and make that a formal, proper thing we can do. And then 8.0 is... Yeah, it is. He just never moved.
Yeah. I was like, I forgot that it's like, it's that long.
I think we need to do I think we need like another Shadowbringers type story where we go to another shard.
I think we're getting hints at something. Well, honestly, I thought they were building us up to go actually to the Void Sent one instead of just replaying Final Fantasy IV again.
I was so excited for a Void expansion. No, I think
I was too.
I don't know. I think either it's going to be Ilsabard, and they're going to decloud that whole island, or that whole continent, or we're going to get a new shard, and we're going to go to some other shard in some other world and have an adventure there after we establish the fact that we can now easily travel between worlds. And I think what I would like to see happen is something that Guild Wars 2 just did, where they ended their big arc, and you're, as the player, like your equivalent of the Scions in Guild Wars, stopped being as relevant, and you got a new one. And they spent, in a seasonal story arc, establishing you as like, this important person in this new organization, in this new thing, doing stuff, setting up the big story, and then they start introducing those people to your old group, and now you have these two groups working together. I'm like, that's cool. I like that. That was fun. I think that I would be cool if we see that for an expansion. But I think at that point, though, we also need to have open travel between stars. And I think if we were to, quote-unquote, kill off a Scion, it's going to be Thancred and Y'shtola are going to stay in the first.
So, we're definitely getting hints at the ability to void travel, like the normal people, not just us special wool people, right? I know you said like you haven't, but for other people, like a lot of hints, specifically with the Y'shtola. Even now, her dad just died, right? And her dad left a book for each one of her 12 sisters, including herself. And her book is a void necromimian, I can't say this word, but it is about traveling between the voids type of situation. It's a forbidden, restricted book, so she's not even supposed to have it. And her sister didn't even want to give it to her, but she like yoinked it and like ran out of the room type of deal. And we know she's been trying to find a gateway, a key, because she, I guess, I don't know if it's implied as much as I want it to be implied, but I think she does miss Runar in them. And she's been talking about, I think like some of her last things, like this won't be the last, like I'll be back.
Yeah. Like I think.
So
Go ahead.
we know, I think it's going that way, that we are going to unlock this sort of like everyday-ish. I say everyday-ish because it'll probably just be restricted to like Charlian, to be fair. Travel in between all the shards, and it is our stupid little Azim hourglass key that's going to be the final piece.
Yeah. I am very much expecting that. The other thing I could see is it not being a single shard, and I don't know how I would feel about this from like a thing point, because this is one of the things I didn't like about Endwalker, is that like all the zones were all over the place. Like they weren't. There was no continuity in like geography. I could also see them being like, all right, let's do multiple shards, and we're establishing ourselves in these different, like we're establishing contact in these different shards, and then we have to, bring them together to do something. I think it would be really fun too, instead of having like world-ending threat. I think it would just be really fun to that, like what's one of the byproducts of suddenly opening up all travel to all of these realms? The economy. I wanted to.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun if one of our villains was once again just really freaking rich.
We have another Teleji.
I just want another Teleji Adeleji as our villain for an expansion. Oh my God. I just want to.
Could you imagine Teleji and Rowena, if they had actually ever teamed up? Like, we would be in trouble. Like, for real.
Yeah, like how I mean, also how apt would it be nowadays too, that like for like talk about a relevant story of just like taking down capitalism. That's the story.
I think that's where I want to go. Like, I don't mind that we've been traveling and stuff, but I have been like really wanting for us to like kind of come back to our home roots and really fix some of the issues that are going on in the Eorzea state, right? Like, we still have a lot of the issues left over with Garlemald, right? We still have a lot of the issues left over with the Ishgardian War. We still have a lot of like the issues with Alamiu's like refugee like crisis and stuff like that. We still have a lot of issues with the Ally Society, which, if you did the Sildal dungeon, you probably know, but if you're also a lore head, you probably also know this too, is that the only reason why, I'm saying in quotations because they're not called that anymore, but they were ever labeled as beast tribes was because of the monetarists like wanting to make a profit. Because like the Amalja, I can't say their word, the fish people.
Oh, so the Sahagin.
Sahagins?
Yeah.
Sahagins? The Kikirans, right? The Sylphs, like all of that. Like they all like lived in the cities, they traded, they worked, they communicated, very much like the Crystarium, right? But capitalism got in the way. And I would love to see like us kind of come through and refix a lot of that. Maybe not us, but like somebody like Alpha Node, really, I guess.
Let's give him another shot with a private army. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. He's older now, right? He's not 14 anymore.
He's a crystal Xar, totally.
Yeah, he can have a private force this time. He learned his lesson, I think.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. Now, obviously, like, we're all just speculating and here, and I have no intention of being correct, because at this point in time, less than a month away from the announcement of the next expansion, I sure as hell hope that they have the story nailed down, and they probably have for at least a few years.
They said that they had made some sort of like game plan for the next 10 years, so to speak.
I mean, admittedly, every company does that, so we'll see how long they actually stick to it. But
well, they are pretty pressured into change because the whole Boja storyline really showed that.
yeah, but I think that like that would be my congratulations, Brutality team. I think that would be
Let's
kind
go
of my
Brutality.
I think that would be kind of my hope, is that we are. I just think it would be fun to not have some like otherworldly deity that we're fighting against again, because like that's,
with you on that.
But
Yeah,
that's kind of been it the whole time. I would really just want to fight like something more grounded, if that makes sense.
something we have no power over would be a really nice like flip reverse to us, because yeah, we can, like, I guess Dawn Trail spoilers, but like they powered off an entire city to try to electrocute us, and we were just like, dang, really? And we got back up after a couple of seconds, right? Like, we as the Warrior of Light in the story can tank so much, but what we can't seem to ever get a grasp on is politics and like getting taken advantage of, so to speak. And I would love to see like us in a more powerless situation that doesn't have to do with a big bad. But of course, right, some of the complaints pretty early on about Dawn Trail, and I don't really want to get into too much of that because it can go so many places. But a lot of the early complaints about Dawn Trail was how quote-unquote neutered the Warrior of Light was, because we were playing second fiddle, which I thought was a good thing. I thought it was nice that we were like the teacher. Yeah. So I know that if we were to do one of those flip reverses where, we can't deal with politics because all we know how to do is punch things, so many people are going to like complain. It was like, I'm the Warrior of Light, I should just go in there and put my foot in his face type of deal, But I want to see that. I'm with you. Like, I agree with you,
Yeah. So.
Speaking of Evan Tidestar, I think we just need to start killing people.
Not now, Ferb. Not yet, Ferb.
Hold on. Because it felt really rewarding, and A Realm Reborn, to be fair, like that build up to the bloody banquet, and then just seeing like bro get, snapped in half. Like, that felt so rewarding to me, because we had known what they were doing on the back ends for so long, and we're just like, just let me get this guy.
Yeah.
I do like it was Raw that did it too. Like, I think we need to put power in the NPCs more again to kind of like offset some of that. I was mentioning it when I was going through the story patches in Solution 9, right? And I won't say anything to like do spoilers, but it was really nice actually seeing the NPCs being able to fight for once, instead of like just flying off camera from like a small little like just punch or something.
Stage right.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's really nice that these NPCs can actually fight. Like, it was so nice genuinely seeing that when all this stuff was going on. So I want to see like more people taking like control. I understand, especially because of the lore, like building up, that adventuring is really hard, which is why all those adventures at the start with you at Satasha and everything, you start seeing them dying in the other dungeons. I get that. I get it. It is a very brutal lifestyle, but it would be nice to see actual, like, more up-and-coming adventurers, because we inspired people, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people are like, oh, because of you, like, I'm gonna go start my journey. I want to see those people come back and actually be relevant.
Yeah. So I don't know. All this to say, I'm excited for FanFest next month. I am genuinely, even with the some of the concerns around the convention or the event itself coming up, I'm still very excited to go, just because I really want to see what is happening with the story next, to be able to just step in and be like, this is what we can start preparing for. Because I think that, much to, as you mentioned earlier, Dawn Trail was basically another Stormblood. The post main MSQ, like the patch stories, I think was very, very good so far. Which also happened in Stormblood. And I think with what we're seeing, like they're teeing up something that could be really interesting.
It'd be a wild shot. I don't think they would do it, but in 1.0 we had something called Path Companions that have their own side stories, and that their sibling was kidnapped by Garlemald, and like they were with us. Like they would go through the story with us and like help us out in like little like duties and stuff like that. Duty. And we would never see them again. But it'd be interesting if they gave us like another Path Companion style story. And that's what, when I saw like Wuklamad, I honestly thought we were getting that kind of back, and it sort of was very similar-esque, but not to the full thing. So, but I don't know how people would respond to having a NPC after seeing how everyone treated Lamati. Having an NPC that took more precedence over you in the story. I'm not sure if some of the main people who play this game, I would say, would be okay
a vocal
with that.
component of players.
Yeah. Vocal component is the better English term I was looking for, thank you.
Yeah. I think going back, like one of the things that I like about MMOs, throwback to like the start of this conversation, is
circle it around like a bucket.
Like with like the world building and the world, like the story and stuff, and I think it's interesting to see like how you can tell a story in the medium of a virtual world where there's just thousands of players on it simultaneously happening, like all doing things. Like I always find it interesting to see what they decide to do and try and do. I'm very excited because we've been getting some new tech in some of these post Dawn Trail stories that I'm like, oh, you've not done this before. This could be really fun. Like the locker and the whole
is it an evil style? Yeah, 7.4 was the locker, because there was I remember that because there was a weird mistranslation in the English text that isn't there, because I played this game in Japanese, and so some of the story beats were translated really wrong, and it's been like a weird, I'm like trying to understand what's going on, because the English version of this game does weird stuff anyways. But I'm with you, like I really loved the Resident Evil like puzzle style that we got in 7.4. Like that was so fun. I want that back.
I think it'd be cool to see. I'm interested to see like what they do with Beastmasters, like the Unbroken Crucible, which, can I just point out, is a name that goes hard.
Yeah.
I am mildly disappointed that is being used for just Beastmaster.
Yeah, I don't know. I was making the joke on... It's a good name, but I was making the joke because I told you about my Final Fantasy 11 like trauma story. Yeah. I was like, I hope that we don't have to like re-up charms so I can't, make the same mistake. And then everyone's like, no, I hope they do that specifically so you can. But no, they're doing some really interesting things, and like what they were talking about too, with this like wintering thing, is such a weird mistranslation error. So I'm very curious where it's going, because my translation, what I got from the story, everyone else is getting something completely different that I talked to, because I played this game in 2 different languages. And so I am trying not to have like too much judgment or hype, because I'm so confused what everyone is telling me, and I went and replayed that scene in English. I'm like, what is she talking about? What is going on?
I am not really holding any expectations to what it is, because like I've heard like, oh yeah, the wintering and the winterers, and I'm like, ooh, what does this mean? I'm like, cool. I'm just gonna wait until like it's a little bit more clear story-wise before I go, oh, okay, that's what it is. Partially because I have heard multiple things that it could be, and all that. But I'm very patient when it comes to some of these stories too. A lot of people will come out and they'll be like, I didn't like it. I'm like, I'll tell you in 756. Let me finish 756 and then I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah, because like I think the English version of the game is implying like a winter, like something icy, something. No, I think it's implying a withering or something.
No, it's the wintering and the winterers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is something. They imply something. Well, to me, winter isn't just an icy, like snow seasonal thing. I know there's another definition to it. I could not tell you what that definition is, but my brain is like, yeah, no, there's a second word. There's a second older English terminology you can use or something like that for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, like, she was talking about something almost similar, but the way that it's, like, phrased specifically in Japanese, like, gives it a completely different meaning. So I'm just like, I've been tilting my head, back and forth, like, marinating on this. So I'm really eager for, like, where, in 7.5, if we get, like, a follow-up to that. Because I think it would, like, illuminate a whole lot. I'm trying, like, I try so hard not to have, like, super theories, because half the time, I wouldn't even say half the time, I would say, like, 85% of the time, like, my pattern recognition is, like, on point, and I kind of wrote the story for myself.
Yeah. That's part of it, too, that, like, I just don't make, I try not to make, like, expectations for myself, because I'm not in charge, I have no say, I'm just along for the ride, so I might as well just enjoy the ride instead of trying to think, oh, we're gonna go to Disneyland, which I guess technically we are now. Crap. Oh, we're gonna go to Disney World, when in reality, like, we're just going to go to, like, the Six Flags down the road.
Yeah, like I said, I like to have my theories. I do like to talk about them, but because that the translation seems to be so weirdly severe at this moment, I want to wait until like 7.5 or something like that, to like more to the story, to see what the full like plate, so to speak, is, because like it was like, what, she only had like 2 or 3 sentences about it, and it's like caused like this big of a confusion that it just hesitates for like a lot of reasons. But I find this an issue a lot that I have, because like I said, I played this game in a different language, and the English version of this game is really crazy with how it translates and comes up with its own lore at times, that people will be telling me something like, what?
Totally.
Where did you
I just
get
googled
that
wintering
from?
definitions, and that's what.
Why do you think that? And then I listen to what they're talking about in English. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Okay, got it. Carry on. Thumbs up. Like, I'm so sorry, buddy.
I have only gotten 2 magic buckets in 400 casts. Which
I think I've only gotten
right.
1.
1 in 200 sounds about right for a 0.5% chance. That sounds about right.
I was surprised I even got that one, the way that, a lot of people online were like speaking up to it, but it seemed many people who had come out with us have also been getting the bucket.
I think everyone here except Leon, I don't know if you've gotten it. Leon, I assume you already have it.
One day might not, I'm not sure.
I'm not too sure. I'm probably gonna just do like maybe 10 more minutes of casting, though.
Yeah.
That
Oh, have you
works.
done the new Hatching Tide stuff yet?
I did.
Did you like it? I'm so pleased.
I did. I like the mini games that they've done for these so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's.
Oh, they've been trying off and on. You got this, Leon.
I think it's really good that they're doing these little mini games for it. My only hope is that once Starlight comes back, I can actually fish in the frickin' market.
Oh, that's right. You were very upset about that.
2 years in a row, I can't fish there.
So Hatching Tide is like my favorite 14. Well, Hatching Tide and Moonfire Fair are like my two favorites.
I like All Saints Wake.
I get really emotional when the Rising comes through. Like I like hearing answers in the cities. I'm just like trauma.
Fleeing.
Y'all don't know. They would like release level like 80 mobs in the cities on us.
Yeah, they have.
But just I posted the video, and it's such an old video. It's so low res of like the big egg that used to roll through old Gridania, and every year I hope they bring it back. They haven't. They haven't since 2016. It was one that would happen like every year up until 2017 maybe. And I've been waiting for it to come back each year, but I've also been waiting for the fortune tellers to come back from the Valention's event, and I haven't seen those in like ages either. But I've been so pleased that the events have actually been very interactive instead of just going up and talking to NPC and get item. I was really sad when they started doing that, but I think that was mostly because of the COVID stuff, right? That's when it really started going to that.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff. I think a lot of things, I don't know what word to use, is there's like obviously there's a big delay for stuff to get made. I think a lot of people who play games who have never made them kind of think like, oh, this is a small little thing. It took me like 6 months. It would take 6 months, and it could have only been 6 months, but that's a long time in game development to make something that small. Like something like Hatching Tide would probably I wouldn't be surprised. I think they have a team solely devoted to those events that works year round.
They do, and I think that team got moved to side content in Dawn Trail as well. Like they were been moving them around.
I know they've had some restructuring, but I think what a lot of people like with Dawn Trail have been saying about like, oh, like the side content is blah 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 blah. I wish we had this. Like, why are we getting this instead of this? A lot of the side content we're getting is filling the feedback that people wanted in Endwalker. And so the feedback that people are giving now is going to be addressed in 8.0.
8.0, yeah.
And sometimes people forget that. So like, your feedback is being heard, but the fact that it's not being updated in like the next immediate patch doesn't necessarily mean that it's been ignored. Like it gets heard. They're saying like they're definitely seeing things, and I know from Endwalker one of those things was, hey, these events need to be a little better.
Yeah, a lot of people were very upset about the events. Me and you nearly have a similar-ish professional background, where I was like on the community team.
Your community, I was on dev.
Yeah. So like I would be the person that would come to your office and be like, hey, they're saying this, and you're like, okay, 12 months later, I fixed it. Well, they're saying this now, like that kind of thing. Yeah. So I understand like the cycle, I think a lot better, but I do think that a lot of the people who, as you said, like the vocal people, have no idea, I guess. And that makes sense. I think that as the internet and social media has progressed, and a lot more like game devs and game designers and stuff are like posting about stuff and like what they would do, people are getting more information, but I think they also, in their head, because of how fast social media moves, they think that, oh, well, I posted this complaint like last month, why hasn't it been addressed? Or they forget, I talked about this like 3 months ago, why is it being brought up now? Like blah blah blah. It's just like, it's not an instant thing. It'd be cool if it was, but it'd be really concerning if it also was too at the same time.
Yeah, and I think the thing too, when you're working with a company like Square Enix, or working within a company like that, Square Enix, where they have 3, 4, 5 regions worth of players, and they can't. There's one region, predominantly the Japanese offices, working on 14. They can't divide that team up to be able to create something to address literally each and every one. Because the NA players are going to say something different than the EU players, and the EU players are going to say something different than JP, and JP is going to say something different than China, and China's going to say something different than Korea. And I didn't forget about you, Oceania. Usually you just get bundled in with the EU anyways.
They do, unfortunately, yeah. Them and the lightsabers.
So they have to it takes time to, as you would know, gather all that information from all the regions, then have the regions talk to each other, of which there's already a language barrier, and then figure out, then sit and talk with the developers. It takes, by the time that they have finally decided how to, what the problems are and what they want to start looking at addressing, 8 months have passed.
Yeah, that was a big thing with Bojo, right? Is, they're obviously going to hear the Japanese feedback first before they hear everything else, just because of location, right? And so, Yoshi even mentioned this in one of his interviews. He's like, hey, if I had known what, the EU and the NA people were saying, we wouldn't have done some of the changes that we had done based on the JP feedback, right? And you mentioning that dev cycle, one of the last big projects I worked with Microsoft was the Smash Bros. Minecraft thing with Nintendo. Oh my god, the back and forth over the smallest little things, which were specifically branding things, but a lot of internal communications, especially god, I'm in a weird spot of I understand business Japanese, which is different than normal Japanese, because you also have to learn a lot of the going into it, the structures and stuff like that. So the way that you have to approach some of these, it sounds so fucking stupid. You're just let me just go to the person I need to go to, but there's a hierarchy, and they can't do anything until a specific thing is settled on their end to then go to that person, to that person, to that person. And when I was living in Japan, there would just be some times of just why is it like this? Why do I have to carry this stupid stamp around for everything? What do you mean I need to have a Japanese phone number, but to get a Japanese phone number I have to be a citizen, or else I can't sign up for this bank card? It was, some of the stuff makes genuinely no sense until you see it, and I know a lot of that adds time, much more time onto it. It was it was a mess. But that being said, it does just make me more aware of what's going on. I'm not I'm not a bootlicker, I'm not just give them time, they're a poor company. It's no, they should be addressing some things that they have not addressed, and I know that they can do it. Yeah. Their community team is not the same as it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think there's one thing that would also be they should. I heard that.
Ooh, did I get another one?
I think you did, yeah. Because
baby.
I don't. You can't respond to everything with a blog post.
No.
But a lot of people want that. But if you do that for everything, you can't do it for everything, because you'll say like, oh, this is what we're going to do, but you need to actually sit down and plan, like, this is what we're going to do, and then once you say it, you have to connect with that, like you have to commit to it.
Yep.
Or else you don't. And I think a lot of the reason why a lot of games don't do this, especially large companies like Square Enix, don't do consistent blog posts, is one, if you do them a lot, it diminishes their impact, and two, it puts them into like basically a written contract that they have to fulfill, and it might not work, especially if they are reacting to something.
Their like consumer laws over there are also like really stringent and strict in a way that I think a lot of I guess Westerners is the appropriate term, right? But like I want to include EU in this too.
Everything's
like,
West if you go far enough.
Yeah, true. Like a lot of the stuff that they have to be liable for and things of that nature is just things that we don't consider over here, you know? And that those blog posts and them speaking stuff into existence is kind of like one of those, especially if it's published in a quote-unquote professional manner, then that is taken as a promise to the company and the shareholders, regardless like if they can do it or not. And so a lot of those blog posts have to be super scrutinized, including like community posts and stuff.
And
because
also worth noting, they need to also be, all those blog posts are localized into 3 other languages, and those have to be reviewed by legal to make sure that they're, for the reasons you were saying, accurate.
Yes.
So like, just because like, oh, something happens and then they're like, oh, 2 weeks later they put out a blog post, or a week later they put out a blog post, and everyone's like, why didn't they do this immediately? Did they not know what was going on? No, I'm pretty confident a lot of the times when they put out a blog post, they know what's going on in 24 hours. It just takes another 5 business days for them to actually draft up the wording, review it, send it to localization, get it localized, get that reviewed, and then finally post it. And they have to then work with the community team to find a time to post it.
Yeah, I will say, like, I was really surprised, you know, Yoshi P's, like, post about mods type of deal, that it came as fast as it did, right? I feel like that's the fastest I've seen something like that move in a very long time.
If I'm honest, I almost want to say that they had that sitting in their pocket. Like, I am almost confident that with just because, I mean, we've both been around long enough, we have seen all of those come up. We know that's not the first time that post has happened, like a post like that has happened, and it will not be the last. We'll see another one probably at the end of 8.0, based on just timing. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a draft sitting around, and then they were like, okay, bring it out, touch it up, adjust it for whatever just happened, send it out.
Yeah, I think that they do have like a island cabinet in case of this at this point in time, because I think like the early days of 14 was very Wild West, and like the very first like 2 fan fests I think really reflected that. Because I was there at the very first one, and Yoshi P and Foxconn and even Ugo Natsumuro were just walking around unattended, right? Like unattended.
It's also a much smaller, less known game at the time too. Like now it's
smaller.
The MMO. It's like one of the MMOs. When you talk about big MMOs, it's 14 and WoW, and then you usually go for 2.
And like the stuff that they weren't prepared for is very apparent once Shadowbringers hit, and you started seeing a lot more in communication changes that the game had. Jazzy brought this up, but I think that they're right. Like the 2.0 to 4.0 community team is a completely different animal than what we have now, and that is just because of the changes in the game sphere, that they can't do the same stuff that they were doing anymore because of the size of the game and the many eyes on it.
Yeah. Way more of that. Instead of being part of their portfolio, it was basically like it was like a headliner for their portfolio, and that has a different. You have to present that differently outwards, not just to the community, but to shareholders, as you were saying as well, because money is involved here.
Yeah, the 1.0 community team in 14 was the reason why I got into community management, actually, because of I had never been in a game where the community management was the way that it was. It was so interesting because, like,
fascinating.
The fake newspapers was what was delivering you community messages, and like those characters were like community managers that would like role play in like their blog posts, so to speak, and in game, right? They would like come in game and like interview you, the player, and get your feedback type of deal. And I thought that was genuinely so interesting. And I haven't. Oh, you got your third? Look at that. Yeah, it's really interesting. I will also say too, this is for game development in general, and I think a few people will agree, and you probably will agree, is that the media literacy in general has gone way, way, way down. Like, people are handheld way too much in games, and that causes so much friction and frustration in a way that doesn't need to be, like, whatsoever. You know, I'll say this because I had this conversation with my roommates. You know, I play a lot of horror games, one of those being Resident Evil. People were just losing their mind online about the yellow paint, right? Like the paint, the white paint, etc. Like showing you where to go, what to do, how to do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I used to be one of those people of like, if the game is developed well, like, you should be able to figure it out. You don't need to be handheld. But then I watched people play these games, even with the yellow paint, being like, I don't know what to do. The game's not telling me. And I'm like, can you think a little, more? Can you crank that, older boy? Like, a little.
That's a throwback reference. Jeez. Don't show your age there, Martin.
Oh my god, RAR XD.
This is the thing, like, as I have been, you know, my role when I was doing game dev was I started as level design. I picked up some community management work while doing level design, and then kind of just became a designer, because level design, the art of level design has kind of faded away, which is very sad and upsetting, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yep.
But for design, like, when I'm thinking about what I think is going to be fun for the player, I have to be like, okay, I have to make this clear cut. Like, it needs to be very clear of, like, this is what you do. And I think it's a little sad, because it's like, if I could be ambiguous, then I could do more. But it wouldn't do as well. And we still see some of that. Like, there are still some games that have obscured things intentionally, like Monster Hunter. The job or the skill descriptions are intentionally obscure to encourage players to talk to each other. Fishing in this game is very similar as well. It's very obfuscated to encourage more community interaction, and it's very strange that we live in such a such a connected world through Discord, internet, TikTok, and stuff, that more games aren't doing that. Because
people are genuinely scared to talk to each other. Have you noticed?
Yeah, I know, it's so difficult. Like, I'm sweating bullets just talking to you right now.
Well, it's because I bite you, but that's different. Like, I yell at you in public sometimes, like, but that's different.
Yeah, it's I don't know. it's something that I'm keeping in mind too, like when because the game that I'm working on right now, and this isn't me like being like, oh, I'm making a game, pay attention to it. It's like, this is literally a thing that I was working on this afternoon, was like, I want to make a game that is about exploration of a world that you fish in. That's it. That's the core idea. That's of the game.
Well, if you need a lore writer, I'll give you my thumbs up.
Yeah. But what's the thing? I've had to make some concessions based on like what it is, and I've had to think about like, okay, how do I want these players to interact in game and out of game? And I'm like figuring out like how am I gonna put this all together and do stuff, and it is so annoying to have to deal with now, because when I was doing game dev like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I didn't have to worry about this as much.
No, I do think that I'm not telling you to do this, but I like when we were talking about like modern recent-ish games that kind of like rely on that, like, you know, social aspect. Web fishing was really good for that. I feel it caught something in a bottle that's really hard to like put into words for other games. But there are like some games you come across, you're like, oh, like you said with Monster Hunter, even when like with 14 and stuff, right? Man, and you were talking about like level design. I think we had this conversation because you build your aquarium very similar to how I build housing for like role play events, with the idea with level
purpose.
Design.
Yeah, like with purpose. With I'm thinking about where the player is going to go. What are they doing? What do I want them to do? I think that's the biggest thing. Like, pro tip: if you are ever thinking about making a game, don't think about what you want your game to do. Think about what you want your player to do. What do you want your player to think? What do you want your player to actually have to do or learn or figure out? And that's how you design a game.
I mean, also as a tip for that too, something that I learned is like a lot of the level designers, specifically some of the level designers in like Gears of War and Halo, so that they look to supermarkets because of how supermarkets are laid out for the customer, gave them a better insight on how to lay out specific maps to like lead people around to like specific areas. And it's such a simple concept, but it did blow my mind when they were telling me that. And I always think about that approach because I did work in visual merchandising and retail environments for a little bit too. And I was like, oh my God, they're right. And crazy.
It's amazing how much stuff you pull in from game dev. Like I have a master's of education in instructional design. I have spent the better part of the past 7 years of my life, if I wasn't doing game dev, I was doing instructional design. They are basically the same principles, just applied to different things. Like, what do I want the person to learn is a question that you ask both as a designer and as an instructional designer, a game designer and instructional designer. And you go about it in relatively similar ways. It's just the medium's different.
Yep. It's really interesting, and I do find the idea of like talking about level design as a fascinating concept because in its own way, I say this not like as a villain mastermind, but I do say this because I don't know a better way to say it, is that it is a manipulation of psychology for some people as well. Which you learn a lot about that in marketing too, like how they design specific colors to like trick the common person's brain into feeling a certain way, and you don't realize you're getting tricked. And so, like you do with your instructional design and stuff, like I would have to do that with some of my community management posts, and even in 14 when I'm doing these events, right, and building specific sets or housing designs for roleplay venues and stuff, like I'm already thinking about that. And a friend of mine was trying to open up a venue, and they're like, this always happens, like when people are trying to open up a venue or a community event, like they come to me, and I was just like laying down, like, yeah, you want to avoid this color and this color, you want to use this and this. you got to think about like these things, like blah blah blah. Like I was giving them like the lecture, and they were just like, wait, what? Like I was like, think about it, like think about it, like pull. Like I sounded like a crazy conspiracy theorist. I think I was like, yeah, man, that's what they don't want you to know, man. Is that if you see the color blue, you're gonna start feeling a little relaxed. You're gonna get a little happy about it. And it's gonna, especially if you have ADHD, you're gonna start feeling certain serotonin. It was just crazy. It was just crazy fucking. But the way that it like still factors into game design and game development and level design, I love it, but I also hate it at the same time. It's a little scary.
It is weird and wild. But I think I am going to need to end it. I just realized that like that's my third amiss.
Yeah, you did it. I got 2 buckets too. I was very surprised.
I got 3, and I only used 496 to get 3, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. How about that snowball?
Ow.
Oh, you can both splash and snow. I can't splash. Wait, what?
Well,
I can't jump in
this
this water.
Snowball?
You just slash throw. If you're on any snow, you can throw a snowball. Including like the housing item snows, right?
Wait,
Slash throw. Throw.
I'm not.
Did you never do the quest to get the throw button?
No. I didn't know there was.
Yeah, it's in Ishgard. It's in the observation. So you used to have to fight a snowman to get it, and it was part of an Alamegan thing for Father Frost. But now you just go talk to somebody, and they're just like, "Here you go, throw a snowball."
I'll have to do that.
So
I'm a chronic, don't do side quest person. So can we show that on this here? If I go to... Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's literally like a 2-second quest now. You don't even have to fight the snowman, which is sad. But the snowman is still there. You can look at him.
I will perceive the snowman. Oh, maybe I'll do that tomorrow on my quote-unquote day off.
Yeah, it's in Camp Dragonhead, but it's the Asta whatever.
The observatory thing?
Yeah, it's hidden under it's one of those that like has 2 quests with 1 NPC, so if you talk to them, the second quest will pop up, type of deal. But it won't show on the minimap because of that, unless you cleared that first one.
That might be why. What?
Oh, thank you so much, Fruity.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this. I hope you did too.
I did too. We'll have to do this again at some point. We'll find another fish that's funny to catch, I guess. Or something, I don't know. We could jump in on Dinmo doing housing and then talk about game design, like instructional game design with the housing builds. We'll just follow him around and just use say chat to do that. Just to annoy him.
No one tell. I was gonna say no one tell Dinmo, but I think Jazzy is here.
Oh, Jazzy will support it 100%. As long as we don't go in the house while he's there, I want to respect that. But outside of the house, we'll just follow him around.
Yeah. We let Demo go through on his stream, and then we just go through on our own stream and like follow
like little follow behinds.
The after breaking and entering.
Hey, Denmo, hurry up! We have to talk here.
Do you think he would catch on if he just saw us in the yard after like a couple of houses and be like, "Why is Fruity and Martin here?" And
I don't know, but it would be really funny to find out.
It'd be super funny. Alright, I'm gonna leave the voice call so you can say goodbye to your stream, but thank you for sharing your stream with me. Chat. Bye, Fruity's chat.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, it's just us now. Hi everybody, I hope you had a good time. I wasn't able to keep up with chat as much as I wanted. I saw YouTube, I know Apollo, you were saying a bunch of stuff. and I was nodding sagely when on some of the stuff you were saying. But thank you to Rysis, Skylara, Quan, Acid, if you guys are all still watching, Ashen. Thank you all for those follows, by the way, as well. All right, well, we are done. We're just gonna stare at Martin here as we finish. Hope you guys had fun. This really was just like a pickup, silly little thing that Martin was like, "Hey, you want to come do something really stupid?" I was like, "Yeah, 100%. We're gonna do this," and it was fun. So we're gonna wrap up here, though. News. Hold on, let me look at my calendar. Coming up next week. There may or may not be a stream on Monday because we had this one tonight. I might not do a Monday night stream, but we'll see. I don't know if we did what it would be. It would be something quick. So you'll keep an eye out for that. But I will definitely be back next Thursday. We are definitely going to be doing a mahjong night next Thursday, April 2nd, April 1st, probably actually late on the 31st or morning of April 1st. I do have an April 1st thing for you all. It's a little bit different than what you might be expecting and what I've done over the past few years. I decided to change it up a little bit, but it is something that you all will actually be able to participate in and do, I guess is probably the best way to put it. So look out for that on April 1st. I'll be posting that on YouTube and on the socials as well. So please keep an eye out for those. So April 2nd, Mahjong for sure. And then we'll be back to our Monday, Thursdays. So the 6th might be another Mahjong stream. Then on April 9th, we will have another Big Fish train. For another Big Fish learning train will be coming up on April 9th. And then I know we're still I know I'm going way out here, but on April 18th, that is in 3 weeks, the Fishers of Light charity event 2 will be happening. We'll be doing a charity event to support Cool Earth. I am still in talks with them to figure out what exactly we will be playing. It will not be Final Fantasy XIV, but it will be a bunch of... they gave me a list of games, and I tried to pick out all the fish ones. So we'll be trying to play as many of those fish games for that charity as well to support Cool Earth on April 18th. And then obviously the week after that is FanFest. So, a lot coming up here in the next few weeks. But for now, I'm going to wrap up. I hope you had fun. My name is Fruity Snacks. I do fishing content on YouTube, and I stream apparently on Mondays and Thursdays now, with the exception of maybe this upcoming Monday. I don't know. But stream on Mondays and Thursday evenings, and occasionally at least one day else during the week for the fun of it. You can follow me on YouTube, Blue Sky, Twitter, and on Twitch. On all of those places, they're all different names because I'm not special enough to get my own names, unfortunately. But lastly and most importantly, my theme is by Atelier Bubble Tea. My emotes and profile picture are by Fox Snyder. And all of this is because you guys have decided to watch me, so thank you all for that. For those of you who are on YouTube, we're going to be ending our stream here. For those of you who are on Twitch, I want to send you over to probably VMimi. I think VMimi's on right now, so we'll probably go over here then. So thank you all for watching, and I will. I'll see you. I'll see you go next time. At least those of you on YouTube, Twitch. Hang on one second, but bye YouTube.